have to make sure the skin doesn't move, and then they can't be hard because then all the blood flow goes to where you're tattooing, which became an issue at one point. And I was like, okay.
Like, dude, you need to relax.
Yeah, calm down.
Like, okay, think of your grandma's underwear because I can't tattoo you right now.
Baseball.
Like, I don't.
Baseball.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
What is it that he got on it?
He got $100 bill
Shut
with some
up.
hexagons.
What?
You know, that's
like it was like micro realism, like a.
better
I did all
than-
the little letters and the little.
So let me.
So
let me
it was like
understand
it was
this.
a
It
$1
started as
bill.
a $1 bill, and as it got bigger, it turned into
Expanded
$100
into
bill.
100. Welcome back to more Artistry Unearthed. We are Cryptic Tattoo and Social Gallery here in Springfield, Missouri. And with us is a very special guest, a very talented artist, a good friend of ours, Alexis of Lex Ink, right?
Yeah.
Lex Ink 417.
Yeah, Lex
Yes.
Ink 417.
Yes.
So I guess my first question right off the bat is like, I've known you as Alexis because that's how you introduced. But
Right.
do you have nicknames?
I do
Alexa.
have nicknames. No, I don't. Alexa doesn't like me, actually.
Because it's been so much easier for me. I've been so tempted for as long as I've known you to be like, just call you Lex.
So,
But you never introduced yourself that way. So
Yeah, Lex is a nickname that I got from other artists, and for some reason, it's always just artists that call me Lex. So I thought it would be cool to use as part of my tattooing name.
that's fair.
It's also easier to spell.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's good business choice.
Right. But my childhood nickname was Nay.
Oh,
What? Nay?
Nay.
I'm probably just gonna keep calling
Yes.
you Alexis.
Yeah, right.
Because I mean,
I'm going to call her Nay.
So my middle name's Danae, and my sister couldn't say Alexis when she was little, so she called me Baby Nay, and that's what my entire family and friend group has called me my entire life.
That's adorable.
yeah, that's cool.
Oh, I feel lots of good ones coming.
Well, and that's the
I only say that because she's my Selly.
Well,
Yeah.
we in a previous episode we've talked about like monikers and stuff, like how people decide their names. Like I'm Mammoth, but Mammoth has been my thing since I was a comic creator,
Right.
and I just kept that rolling. And also I'm a big dude.
No,
no
there's
tusks.
not
yet.
going to
They're
be a
growing in.
nickname. It's
But,
just
like,
never going to
But
happen.
David never had one. He's
No.
David James.
right.
We've come up with a handful of other alternatives, which are absolutely worth
and
considering.
none stick to the wall.
No, they
sorry.
do. They all stick.
No, they don't.
Sir. DJ Jazzy Tats, top of the list.
No.
That's impressive.
But no, and that's always interesting for, I mean, yours makes sense. It makes it,
Yeah.
Kelsey, she went with Ruby Blue.
I want to know where that came from.
Yeah.
So we were going through different things, trying to think of something because I didn't want to use my regular name. There was already like 3 tattoo artists in Springfield named Kelsey that were pretty well known. And I also have small kids. So I was like, I'd rather have like a public facing persona that people don't initially know my name the second they go to my page. Wait until they meet me. And if I feel good telling them my name, I can do that. Now I'm on the internet. So it doesn't
Yeah, now
matter.
we-
But, whatever.
yeah,
It makes it slight barrier there. But we were going through different stuff, and Ruby came up because I have red hair and it's also my birthstone, and I don't remember where the blue came in, but it was like it rhymes, so it sounds cool, Ruby Blue Tattoo, and it also wasn't taken. So then I was able to get that on all the different platforms and not have like a different random name or dot or underscore in my name on every different thing because
Yeah, that's
I
smart.
like can't keep track of, well, this one's my Gmail, but this one's my Insta, but this one's I can't keep track of 2
And now I'm
things,
pretty
so.
sure I put your social security number in all of our video
Yeah, that's-
descriptions. So.
Nice.
Like, subscribe,
People
Kelsey's
can
social
find
security
you.
number.
Right,
It's
yeah.
Exactly.
mother's maiden name. It's
So
important.
Alexis, we brought you on, like you hit us up. You joined the team. Was it around July?
It was the middle of
August?
June.
June. Okay,
Yeah,
so
of
then you
last
officially
year.
started like full. You kind of gave a trial period, but
Mm-hmm.
we actually. So you've been with us for a little while since last June. And so far so good. It seems like everything's
Yes.
going well.
Yeah.
But we actually have a little bit of a longer history with you. But unfortunately, like not really all that detailed, other than the fact that you came into the last location that we all met at before that we left to start Cryptic. You stuck around for a little while, and then you joined us up later. We were there for your apprenticeship when you were brought on. The owner of the place brought you on as an apprentice, the same mentor that Kelsey and I had,
Right.
so to speak. And I don't know, you had it's still, even from the outside looking in, you had a much different experience than even we did because you had to share your apprenticeship with another.
Right.
By then, even Kelsey had like 7 apprentices at the same time.
There was
you were
8
one of 7
at
or
one
8.
point. But she got her. I remember you getting your license. It was like when I had first started
Right.
coming in, and like I wasn't even on skin yet. So but I think your apprenticeship lasted a little longer too because you had other stuff that you were doing at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to just kind of talk about how you got into tattooing?
Yeah, let's start from there. Like, what inspired you to be a tattoo artist to begin with?
So I have always been an artist. I've always drawn and painted and in all different medias. And whenever I turned 18 and got my first tattoo, I was like, yep, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. And I had kids. I never got into it. And then my kid's stepmom actually got me my apprenticeship.
That's cool.
Yes.
She
knew I wanted to do it for forever. And she said, go talk to this guy. I know him. You're going to, she's like, you got the spot if you just have to go. And
is she a tattoo artist as well?
she is not.
She's just a tattoo
No, she was
enthusiast?
a bartender and just
Oh, okay.
knew. Yeah.
No, that's a cool story. So where you joined up with us, was that the place that she recommended? Is that
Yes.
where you went? Okay.
Yep.
So you didn't like have to bebop around on foot to a handful of other. So that's beneficial.
No.
And when he brought you on, admittedly, we were just like, who is this? But I'm sure that was the case for all of us. It's exactly why it took a few months for most of the people to talk to me. I was the new guy. I wasn't offended by it, but by the
I didn't
time
even know that you got licensed before I even left. It was just
and
Really?
we had some good stories.
Well, I knew that you. I guess let me say that, rephrase that you had your license when I left, but I didn't even know when you got licensed.
Right.
Didn't you get licensed in January?
Yes.
Before
All I knew is that you showed up, did your thing, and that was that. It just there was just so much chaos going on.
So
And
I
I
came
lived
in
in
like-
my earphones.
I came in like right after New Year's because I was like, I decided, okay, like I'm ready to try this again after the first shop fell through. And I was like, but it's like Thanksgiving time, everyone's gonna be traveling, and then it's Christmas time, everyone's gonna be traveling. I was like, right after New Year's, I'm gonna like hit the sidewalks, bring my book, walk in shops. So I came like right at the beginning of January, and it was like a week or two after I started talking
Right.
to the shop, and I was still kind of like just hanging around, that she got her license.
So needless to say, we weren't really we were aware of you. I personally was impressed by your work. Like you could actually draw, and you were in your station, always working, always learning, always doing things. I didn't know where I stood as far as being able to just casually talk to you. There's a lot of cool stories. There's you having to trade designs with the other apprentice, who by the way is also at another location now, and he's doing well. So it's not like it was a bad experience, but it was very chaotic. And we can now, and we said it to you several months, but like all of us are really proud to have you here. Like we're really excited for you.
I'm happy to be here with you guys.
From your perspective though, like how was your apprenticeship?
So my apprenticeship, every day I went in that I didn't have my kids. And I started on a melon, of course. But once I went to skin, I was never watched. I was just taught myself. I looked over him, and I looked over you, and I looked over David, and I looked over everybody's shoulders to see just what I could learn by watching, and I caught on.
Yeah, and that's great.
Yeah.
I get, you know what I mean? It's one of those. That was exactly the situation for us.
Yeah.
For me, I watched over David a lot. I got a lot of advice from a couple others that were really big into color. Just being a cartoonist and an animator myself, I thought color was going to be my biggest jam, but it was watching his line work and his shading and his that I felt like, okay, this black work illustration stuff, black and gray, that might be my thing, because I just admired, because I figured if you can get good at line work, you can be okay with this.
Right.
I learned a lot from you, watching over you, like getting and I guess that was
I
the feel
remember
of
you
it.
asking some questions.
I
Even
always ask
whenever
you
I
questions.
first started, I was like, "Why is he asking me all these questions? Like, I don't know what
You
I'm
have
doing."
you had a very consistent hand speed, and it's something
Yeah.
that you do now, and it's really not much different now than it was then. You just have a very smooth, very consistent hand, and you have a thing for it, because I was the fine line guy. Most people
Right.
wanted me to do fine line stuff, and you did fine line stuff a lot in the beginning, because our mentor used very small needles. He was he was kind of a realism fur and hair, and like he's the only guy that I knew that used bug pins. That's what I learned on. I don't think I was licensed before I used anything bigger than a 5.
Yeah, and that's what he did with me too.
Yeah.
He kept me at a 5 or a 7, and he said, "You're not going any bigger than that until you master these needles."
I did that on my own. I
So-
didn't realize that was even an option. I was
And
intimidated
it's
by
funny
the 9.
that,
Yeah.
that you say master these needles, but yet never showed you a
Yeah.
thing. I would
It's
just
okay.
watch my P's and
Yeah.
Q's.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're
Like,
here
man,
now.
you know, I get it, but I'm still not in a position to talk smack. I mean, it's
Yeah.
that aspect that, it's water under the bridge, but the aspect of going back and seeing two people that are learning bounce off of each other is good, because that's how you continue to learn, is understanding that it's always looking at other people's stuff and what they do and how they do it. And you learn stuff. Even though I've been doing it as long as I have, there's little things that I can pick up from every single one of you that, oh, let me try that, because I've not put this into my arsenal of, hey, I can, do this with, and mix it with my technique. And it's crazy. I mean, even this past show that we were at, I picked up things and was like, wow, I'm going to go back and try this. And lo and behold, it's like, wow, that works out really well for me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's always things that you're going to consistently learn, but to do it that early is amazing, because you guys then grow and grow and grow and grow. And that's phenomenal. You don't get that in a lot of places. So and
No,
that's-
either way, we're very happy, and that's the thing. Depending on, because I'm like, and I'm sure all of us feel the same way. We were glad for the opportunity to be brought in. I was invited in, so I was just like, I'll give it a shot. But and I stuck with it. But the thing is I'll always be thankful for being invited in and for having the opportunity. I had the maturity and the tenacity and the previous work experience in graphics and other art to be like, all right, I'm gonna give it a year and see where it goes, and I'll go back to doing my other stuff, or I'll continue this. I have that. I guess I have that privilege of being able to make that choice, but you guys had to make a choice. Like you and the other apprentice at the time, like that was it. That was the rest of your life that you were forming.
But
And you
everybody's
stuck
got
to
to
it.
start somewhere. Whether
Yeah.
whether it's, mine was the same. Crappy environment. It just,
Yeah.
but it's because you want to be a part of that, that you fight through it and you battle through it. And I mean, I've done that at numerous shops for several years, and just gone through so much turmoil that it's like, but this is what I need to do for myself. And then eventually the light at the tunnel will show, and I'll be able to go through it. And thus the reason why we're where we are right now.
Yeah.
Because that end of the road and the light at the tunnel was right there in front of us, and we seized that. And now everybody here in this studio has that same amazing opportunity to grow and flourish and not worry and have to look over their shoulder going, man, this is just, I don't really want to be here.
Yeah.
That's the worst feeling ever.
I never think that being here.
And that's good. That's
No,
what
that's
we
good. I'm
don't
glad.
want you to.
You're not worried that somebody's gonna come in the front door to
Front
settle
door,
a score,
or- yeah,
and have
yeah.
a throwdown with somebody, or
Yeah.
the DEA is gonna show up, or the sheriff's gonna show up with an eviction notice, or
Right.
Right.
you
Right.
don't have to worry about that. So that's
I
cool.
mean,
You
and it's
focus on art.
good. I mean, for me to see everybody here not have to really battle as much as I did in my 26 years
Right.
of getting to where I needed to be, is good, because you all are such great artists. And
Oh shucks.
it's but I mean, but it's the truth. And to know
Yeah, you're
that
right.
all of you guys don't have to go through that bullshit to
Well, and kudos to you for recognizing that because you suffered, that others don't have to. And because
Exactly.
Right.
There's-
Instead of
yeah.
turning it around and being like, "Oh, this was hard for me, so I need to haze you."
But
or
I
you'll
had
never
it.
Be a good artist.
I had it
That's-
well. Like I went in knowing the horror stories of what people go through in their apprenticeships, especially women. And it's like, I'm not interested. I'm too old. I'm not interested to be treated like a kid, to be hazed, to be, the moment it happens, I had that freedom of just leaving. Other people don't have that luxury. They're stuck in that situation. They're put in a situation where they don't, it's like, this is the rest of my life. I'll just put up with it now and then I'll gain by power later. I have no idea what that's like. And that's got to be frightening.
I don't think any of you were, I mean, I may be wrong because like I said, I had my headphones on most of the time.
There were things about Kelsey that I didn't know until after we left.
You guys got hazed. I mean, don't get me wrong. I issued and dished my fair share, in other studios. I know with apprentices. I mean, and it was some of it was funny, some of it was like overboard, some of it was just. I mean,
but you know better and you do better,
right?
And so you can say like, "Hey, I was in this place. This wasn't ideal. Some of it was done in good fun. Some of it was probably too far, but." I'm sorry for where we were, and let's move forward and let's create a different environment and something positive for people to grow and be the best they can.
I just don't think hazing. I mean, a little fun is okay, but
I don't think I was hazed. I think I wasn't treated with professionalism and respect.
Right.
We weren't children that needed to be broken down and rebuilt, though, either. We weren't.
What was your experience?
Yeah.
I don't think I was hazed either, but it definitely wasn't a positive environment to be. There was just situations that happened, and it made me feel stuck.
I feel like I've seen you.
So I get the stuck thing.
Yeah.
It made you uncomfortable.
Made me uncomfortable. Yeah. And I felt stuck there. And whenever you guys left, I didn't know what to do. Because I was like, take me with you. But I also didn't.
But everything has a purpose.
Everything does.
You came full circle.
Yeah.
I advocated strongly for you. I thought even when I was there, what I saw, you were a very talented artist. And when that door opened, I was definitely big on you. I was like, this is who we need to grab this person. I advocate this a lot, and I tell you, Nate, a lot, is that I think a lot of artists are a product of their own environment. They're good, but they can't break out of their shell because of where they're at. And the minute you remove them and put them in something that is good, they flourish. It's just like feeding a plant water. If you nurture it and tend to it, it's gonna grow. Nobody in that situation there was going to grow.
But everything had to line up just right and be ready for that situation to be different and take that step. But like, I feel like I've seen you be underestimated as an artist.
That's right.
And it's very like, it sucks to see because you have so much potential. And something I really respect about you as an artist is you don't back away from a challenge. No. So like your breadth of styles that you go into and really like do justice to is impressive. And I think partly like we're still new artists. And so we don't have a corner where it's like, okay, this is the thing we do. We always do this thing. It's really more like, okay, this is what clientele are wanting. Today I'm a black and gray realism artist, and tomorrow I'm going to do color, and the next day I'm going to do this illustrative, stylistic stuff. But I don't see you back away from those challenges. Your clientele is so incredibly diverse. You've worked on all different skin types, all different styles. But is there one that you really love doing, or a couple you love doing?
I love color. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love playing with color, but I love black and gray.
There it is. There it is.
It's fun, and I love it.
Yeah.
There it is. That's why I like having her in the room. She's a
There's
black and
something
gray
about
artist.
like just being able to, it feels like painting more.
It
Because
does.
line work can be stressful because you got to get it just right on that first hit. But the black and gray realism, you just kind of keep adding and painting until it's how you want it to be. And you don't have the extra hassle of like, oh, I got to clean out all these colors and this mess, and this is starting to get dried out.
There's just something fun about it.
It is.
But that's how I started too. It was just, I studied so much about black and gray and how those things work that's what made me want to be that. I didn't really have any niche or want or desire to even be a color artist.
Until you started winning awards, but no big deal.
I mean, no, and not even that. It just it's just, I'm still not really super fond on color. I mean, I enjoy doing it when I do it, but it's, It's just not. I would rather be doing black and gray all day long.
Yeah.
And it's great that I got somebody that enjoys it just as much sitting next to me.
Yeah.
So
Makes
fast
it
forward
fun.
a little bit. Yes, he said doo-doo.
Yeah.
Doo-doo.
I caught that. Doo-doo.
So when we got the keys and we announced that we were leaving. You know, we had no idea. We had an idea of who would want to come along with us. We had no idea who would want to go.
Right.
And it was not an easy situation at all for us. We were prepared for it, but it was still surprising how it unfolded. You weren't there for too long after we started Cryptic and we left. You stuck around for a short minute, but then you ended up
maybe a month or two.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is there anything about that process that you're comfortable with sharing? Like how did that? Because you went to another location completely.
Yeah, so there was just a whole situation that happened that made me uncomfortable, and then I was pretty much just forced to leave. Like the owner changed, and they just decided they didn't want me anymore because I wasn't okay with certain things, and so I just found a new home.
Okay, so you reached a point where you kind of had to draw a line.
Was that
I drew a
Was that
line, and they
difficult?
didn't like the line I drew.
Right.
Right.
That
But
was
I
same as
needed
us,
to
yeah.
respect my boundaries and stuff with what I was okay with working with. So
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
yeah.
And then you were at that other place for a little while.
Yeah, about 9 months.
9 months. That was a
9
pretty
months.
solid stint. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then out of the blue, we get a message like, "Hey, I'm leaving. Do you?" There was a bit of a story with that. I mean,
There
you know,
is.
I don't know what you're comfortable with talking about, but either way, one reason or another, you left and you hit us up. I've always been curious. Was that awkward for you to reach out to us?
I looked at your guys' page multiple times before I messaged you, and it's like, well, they didn't ask me to go with them, so I don't know if like I should ask them but you guys, I found you guys to be my family before, and so when you guys left, I was like, this isn't my family here anymore. And so whenever I finally decided to message you and you guys let me in, you know, I had my family back.
Yeah.
And it made it
I had no idea.
way better for me.
I think
Were you nervous?
I was-
I mean,
Well,
I would think that there would have to be some sort of nerves.
There
going,
was.
I don't know
There was.
what they're going to say, but
Because-
then did you have that little voice in your ear going, "What have you got to lose, Alexis? Just message him.
Pretty
Just
much.
message him. It's okay."
But I also had like 3 people pushing me, like, talk to Cryptic. Like, you know those people. I
Yeah.
had 3 different people message me, and because I asked around, like, what shop should I ask about? And everyone's telling me, go back to them. You should. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Because you watched every bit of our
Yes.
process.
Yeah, you watched
Yes.
everything.
And you were
I
there,
did.
and you
Sat in the corner quietly.
sat in the corner quietly and you observed.
Which I
and you
admire. You know
watched.
what? Which I completely admired
Because not
you know
everybody
what?
did.
you.
Yeah.
It sucks when stuff happens like that
And you
because
didn't
people
weigh
choose
in,
sides very very quickly.
and there I think that
I wasn't
from-
on any sides.
I
I
think-
just
And
didn't
that's
know
what
to
that's
do.
what I admired because you stayed neutral in that whole situation.
Yeah.
You chose to stay out of it. You let this happen and this
Mm-hmm.
happen, and to me that spoke volumes.
Right.
It made me feel whenever you reached out, there was a level of like, I was relieved because it didn't really cross my, because I'm absent-minded, but it didn't really cross my mind like just how much we could have alienated people that we actually really do care about,
Right.
who were given a bad hand and still thrived, and you were one of them. And when you reached out, I was like, okay, like I don't know, I felt uplifted by the
Yeah.
fact that you reached out to us, and I was like, I wonder how much of a risk this is for her, like, and not just her, but others in general that see what we're doing, like even from other places, you know, they watch what we're doing and what we're building, and they're just intimidated, or if they're, you know, and not, I mean, and it sounds like an ego thing, but it's like it broke my heart to know that there was a time where you might have felt like intimidated or like nervous to reach out to us, because
Right.
we've always respected you. We didn't know a whole lot about you, but that's just as much on us,
Right.
at least in my case. But you always came in, you always delivered, you were always working, you always had people in your chair. That hasn't changed today. You're work is constantly moving and growing, and it's incredibly impressive. We're very glad that you reached out to us.
I mean, you prove that you belong here.
Yeah.
You truly
even know what to say to that,
belong
thanks.
here for sure. You do.
I feel like I do.
Yeah.
You know, and then to watch what we have built, you know, in just under 2 years is incredible.
Yeah, and it's
And the
getting bigger.
growth and the artists that we have here
Yeah.
is just bar none.
It's crazy. We haven't even been here.
I may
2
be
years
a
yet.
little
You haven't
biased,
even been
but-
here a year yet.
I know.
Like,
I may
you
be
really
biased,
haven't
but
been here
Yeah,
a
it feels
year
like you've
yet.
been here
still
the
a
whole
couple-
time, though, kind of.
right? It does. No, honestly, it does. Feels
No,
like you've
I-
been here the whole time.
And I know that a
Right.
lot of this stuff, for the sake of saving names and saving face, you know, has been very well cryptic. But but the thing is that, you know, we were in an environment that was a little different for each of us. Some of us more dangerous than others. And it just kind of goes to show that, like, you know, for if you are feeling stuck, or if you're in a position where you have to draw a line, like, I am no longer okay with this, like, and it was very brave for you to be like, I don't know what power they had over you, like he had over you. I can only imagine. But I knew that there was some. You were under a thumb in certain ways. It's none of my business. But the fact that you were able to draw a line and to break away, even if you had to be temporarily in another situation that was just a different version of that same, I have an incredible amount of respect for that.
I
That's
do
not
too,
an easy-
because I
easy
wish
choice to
I
make.
could have drawn those lines far sooner. I looked at things different. I respect the hell out of all you guys for being able to just go, this is it.
I want to hear your perspective, because I feel like it's been a lot of us talking, and like I want to hear more of like your thoughts on like how do you come to this plan, this idea in your head of like, this is where I want to be, and how do you make that a reality for yourself? You know what?
Well, I've been stuck in a lot of bad situations in my life, and I didn't always have the control to get myself out, and I had the control to get myself out of this situation that I didn't want to be in anymore, that I was no longer okay with. And so I just made the plan and said, okay, yeah, I tried, and I told them my boundaries and like what I wasn't gonna be okay with and everything, and then it just was, they were like, okay, well then,
Yeah.
bye.
So, like,
And then I made a new plan.
Setting those
I
boundaries.
packed up that
and-
same day, and the other apprentice actually got me the spot at the other shop
Yeah.
because he knew them. And
Like having those difficult conversations, even though you knew it was risking a career you loved, and then taking that leap and being willing to pack everything up when you knew that it wasn't going to be the right place, so that it was able to open the door for the next thing.
yeah, I did feel like I was being held back a little bit, and I didn't want to feel that anymore. I knew I needed to change where I was so I could be able to flourish, as we say.
And now that you've kind of had a second to breathe, and you've removed some of those the obstacles and the challenges that are the base level, like, okay, this is a place where I can thrive and I don't just have to worry about surviving.
Right.
Like, where do you want to go now? What are your,
You know, I don't know.
like,
I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
I just come in every day and do what I love. I don't
Yeah.
have any plans for the future. I just go day by day and do whatever.
I mean, that's
whatever
got to be
comes to me.
liberating, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are there-
I'm too big picture to...
Are you jealous because you get to do it too?
I know,
We
I
all
get
get
to.
to
I
do
just
that
choose
here.
not
Yeah.
to, and it's...
It's
I-
we're not bound
This
by
isn't about
anything
me,
anymore.
David.
so
Let's...
are there styles that you like haven't got to try, or you've just barely dipped your toe in, that you really want to like master? Because I know you've started doing portraits recently too, but that's
Yes.
kind of new. And so like,
I've had a lot of fun doing portraits, but I would still like to try like any other style. Like I've had people come to me for anime tattoos, and I've never done those before. And so I've always thought it'd be cool to try those, or geometry, which I've done like hexagons, but like geometry tattoos are different.
they're challenging. They're
They just
harder
hit
than they
different.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't fit the body very well.
You have to be very precise with where you place them.
don't.
That
for
was...
sure.
Heavy black work and geometry was my jam, just because I was a graphic designer.
Yeah.
It made sense to me. But, like, like I said, you had a very strong sense of line weight from the very beginning, and I think geometry would be I look forward to seeing what you do with geometry, just because of your sense of like, I want to pair this line weight with a thinner line weight. And because like us, you learned on a very tiny needle, like, and you kept it straight. So it's like, I'm very curious how that's going to work out.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun.
So in a matter of 2 weeks, you probably did like half a dozen wolves. Actually, that might be a little ridiculous, but
Wolves and trees.
wolves and trees.
Both in the same tattoo.
I didn't know if you're going to be
All
the wolf
different
lady.
styles, though.
Had you ever
I
done a
did-
wolf before that?
No.
But it was just like multiple clients all at the same time. They're like, we want wolves. We want multiple wolves.
Yes.
We
But
want
they-
all the wolves.
But those things come in phases,
Yeah.
for real. Like, 'cause
Right.
there was a time, before we got here, that literally I would go through a phase of every client that I had for weeks. It was all floral.
Yeah.
All floral. All floral. And then it would shift gears, and it would
Just when
go
you start
to-
to
It
like
follows the
flowers.
algorithm.
Yeah, we're
Whatever's
gonna do
cool
this
on
now,
social
and-
media this week. It's like, that's
Right.
what you get to do for the next 2 months.
It is, and then it'll fade away, and then you'll not do a wolf for 6 months. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, oh, I got like 12 wolf appointments.
Yeah, but one of those wolves I did now I have a client that asked me if I could do a bear in the same style. So now we might be switching to different animals.
Scooch on over to a different cave. We're
Yeah,
doing
well,
bears
that's-
now.
yeah.
So, something else that's fun about you, Alexis, is that I feel like you get all the weird tattoo requests.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I want to
this
hear
might-
about some of your weird tattoos.
Yeah.
Do you now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
This,
I
We know where
believe.
this is going.
I just.
We're gonna tell me about my wiener.
No, I have an affinity for the Kmart logo you did because it
Shut up, you
crashed.
did.
okay,
Kmart
we're
logo.
going to start with that. Okay, okay.
I did a
Who's-
Kmart logo.
Who's making bank off of that?
So this
Not
guy, he just collects things from old stores that are no longer a store anymore,
Like a
like
vintage.
Blockbuster and Kmart and Toys R Us.
Venture and
Shut
yeah.
I did a
so
Kmart
cool.
logo on
Really?
him.
So
Yeah.
what other logos did he have?
He didn't have any more yet. That was his first one, and he.
That's a hell of a start.
Like he
though.
was
No,
on
I
a
feel like
mission.
we've got to get
That
like
was
5
it.
at once because if you just
No.
have one, then you
It-
don't have
right
like, the-
here, Kmart logo right
Oh
there.
my god.
Full color?
Yeah,
Wow.
all red.
I want you to do
Cool.
like his Blockbuster
So,
membership
was
card.
was he just a walk-in, or did you
No,
reach
he was
out to
actually the son of one of my other clients.
you? Okay.
And how did like literally that conversation come about? Like I want to know what that approach. Hey, I just like a Kmart logo.
Well, his mom messaged me about it, and she said he wants this. And then whenever he came in to get the tattoo, I actually like asked him like, okay, so why?
I just need to know why.
Why are we doing this? And that's the story he gave me, and he was super
No, that's
excited
cool. I
about
look
it.
forward
and
to
he
seeing
loved
that.
it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he
Get a
comes back.
Toys R
and
Us.
comes back, and because I want to see this collection.
A Borders, a Blockbuster, a Venture. Yeah, that'd be cool.
yeah.
Right? I mean, there's numerous companies going.
Okay,
out of
Tag 'em in
business.
there.
Isn't he
If-
like young? Is he too young to have like been to a Blockbuster? And
Like
my
you can
age,
get a
like,
Joanne's
okay.
fabric
No.
one too.
Oh
now.
my gosh.
I thought it'd be funnier if he's like 18 and he's just like,
No.
man, I heard
No,
about
I think he's, like,
Blockbuster,
30.
the legend of the Blockbuster.
But wait
Right.
until they
Okay.
they start coming back. Wait until Blockbuster comes back, and then suddenly his leg is worth money.
There's still one.
I mean, aren't they bringing Toys R Us back?
Yeah,
It's like
tentatively.
inside other stores,
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like paired with a A&W root beer. or
And
something.
your picture frame client,
Yes.
it's like a really cool approach to a patchwork sleeve. Can you
Right.
talk about
Yes. So she had these roses on her shoulder, and she was like, I don't like these because they were like 10 years old, and she wanted them fixed up. And then she started coming up with these ideas for little bitty tattoos, and she wanted to add picture frames going up her arm. And they varied with meaningfulness and things she liked, and some were just a streaking banana throwing his banana peel off. So
that? With a little
there's-
censored block.
with a little censored
Oh my
block.
God.
And
the streaker
So
banana.
cool.
Did you not see that one?
Yeah.
No.
The
Yes.
streaker banana is one of my favorite tattoos I've
God.
ever seen.
And then I just like carried down the roses as wallpaper in the background to
Yeah.
just like
The picture frames.
Formal frames of everything, and that's a great idea of tying
Yeah.
everything together. Is
I
to-
redid the
It's so
flowers she
cool.
had and then
Yeah.
brought them down.
Wow.
So I guess the elephant in the room, so to speak. We did an episode previously about where we draw the line, places and ideas that we may or may not choose to do.
Right.
And universally, I think everybody's more open-minded than I expected when we went into it. But there was a whole segment of that episode based on requests for tattoos on the penis.
Right.
And we had theories and ideas as to how that would work. We illustrated, pantomimed almost different ways of like how it works. Mandy weighed in on some experiences from other artists that say like, you know, it has to be a certain way and it has to be stretched a certain way.
Yes.
You here at Cryptic a little while ago just
Initiated
casually
the whole studio by doing that.
yeah,
And
casually,
didn't notify us in advance so that we could get like updates.
I knew that it was going to
No,
happen. She told me it was going to
yeah.
happen.
I remember
I guess it's
you
in
just
your
casually
room, so you.
No, it was when she was still
Oh, it was
Yeah.
before she moved in with your room.
lonesome.
She casually mentioned that it was coming. We're like, oh, interesting. And then
Yeah.
it kind of fell off my radar. Needless to say, you have an actual first-hand experience.
Was
Technically,
it?
there's 3 hands that have to happen in that.
Was it?
Tell us more.
Was it more or less challenging than you thought it would be?
It wasn't that challenging. The
Okay.
stretching part was actually the worst part of it. But so you have to actually glove up your client. And they stretch in multiple directions. So like the client had to stretch out and I stretched the around.
So you're just
So
working
that
in
the
that
skin-
spot on the
like this
skin.
So the
visual
skin
is
right
so
there.
bad.
Right.
I need to stop moving my hands.
No, it's the only way. I'm a visual thinker.
Yeah, so you have to make sure the skin doesn't move, and then they can't be hard because then all the blood flow goes to where you're tattooing, which became an issue at one point. And I was like, okay,
Like, dude, you need to relax.
Yeah,
I
calm
was
down.
like, okay, think of your grandma's underwear because I can't tattoo you right now.
Baseball.
Like, I
Think about
don't.
baseball.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
What is
was-
it that he got on it?
he got $100 bill
Oh.
with some hexagons.
You know, that's
like it was like micro realism, like a.
better
I did all
than-
the little letters and the little.
So let me.
So
let me
it was like
understand
it was
this.
a $1
started as
bill.
A $1 bill, and as it got bigger, it turned into
Expanded
$100
into
bill.
100.
the
That's
he has-
face isn't on there all the way, so it's like a part of the bill, and it has like the seal and the barcodes and like the signatures and stuff,
Okay.
which is
So-
also a
realism
really,
is what he decided to go with,
yes,
though.
Yes.
So I mean, you must have been had a proud amount of real estate for realism. I mean, that's good for him, I guess. We'll just assume, I guess. But
I don't think she can tell us. That probably violates HIPAA or something.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. So
It definitely wasn't just the tip.
overall,
It wasn't just the tip.
you went into it like, well, I'm doing this, and then honestly, it went weeks before we even realized, holy crap, yeah, you totally did that.
Yeah.
So in a review, overall, it was. Was it as you said there was difficulties as far as stretching goes, but overall, like, what did you charge for it?
You should have charged more.
Oh
whatever
my
you
God,
charged.
yeah, here it
I
goes.
should have charged more, but
Listen
so
to
this was one that I just wanted to like. So you know the things that you've just never done before that you want to do.
Like,
That
so I'll
you-
give it a go. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
this is a
And
new art style, so I'll
I've-
give you a discount.
And I've
Like
known
that.
this guy for 10 years, and he said, "Sure, I'll let you do that." And so it was.
It was your idea?
no. Well, no. He said that he said that he wanted to get one done. And I said, "You should let me do that."
Okay.
Because I wanted to try. So it wasn't like
Yeah.
asking me directly.
It
You
just worked
Katniss
out.
Everdeen
You
a tribute
volunteered.
there.
I volunteered.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so no, I didn't charge as much as I should have for it, but it only took like an hour.
Right. There's
It
not a whole
wasn't-
lot of detail. There's not a whole lot you can do over a
Yeah.
long period of time.
Did-
And it wasn't awkward for me.
Did it seem
Sure.
like a
It
really hard
wasn't-
time for him? Like, compared to, like, doing a knee or a ditch or something? Did he seem like he was struggle busting?
No, he didn't have any issue. He said it didn't
Oh.
hurt any worse than any other tattoo.
That's
And
surprising.
and found out new things about himself apparently because
Well, there
Well,
you
sure.
go.
No, then there's
Yeah.
there's
It was-
stories about that.
It was a
too.
journey of self-discovery.
Right.
No joke.
He's
Yeah.
writing a book about it now.
I mean,
exactly.
not all worms are created equal. I guess sometimes
Right.
they're just. But no, it's a crazy experience, and like I said, it's just funny just how casual. Like, yeah, I did that. An entire episode diffused because you're like, yeah, I did it, and it was interesting, but it wasn't that
Not
big a
that
deal,
bad.
and I moved on with my life. So moving forward, casual walk-in, complete stranger, like weigh in. Are you like, yeah, I'll do it? And how much will your rates go higher now that you've got the experience?
Yes.
Okay.
cost and worth are way different with that. On a complete stranger that I don't know and it being out of the blue, I would charge probably way too much.
Way too much. What's way
But
too much?
I don't know.
We
It depends
talked
what
about
it
this.
is. It depends what it is, to be quite honest. But it's
Like, no,
there
for
needs
me,
to be
there's
like a
handling
base.
fee.
There
Right.
needs to be like a base of like I don't know, $800 or $1,000. Just like if you're getting the whole thing done, like this is it. I don't know.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know.
Charge them extra if it's their
Like,
significant
no,
other's name.
there's a
fees.
fee for me to just even go.
Is that
This
number
is
too
the
low for
appoint-
you
this
too?
is the appointment,
Right.
and then I'm charging you for the piece.
So there's like an
Right.
$800 fee for making eye contact with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and
that's
putting that
valid.
thing in my hand,
Now that's
Right.
you just added
and then
more.
now I'm going to charge you for the tattoo. So
Right.
now you're probably looking, every bit of 1,000,
Right.
1,200.
Bearmans.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there was a story where a guy came in. I don't know if you were there at the time, but a guy came in. He looked ashamed, and a woman behind her looked all like snotty and kind of smug. Apparently, he was in trouble, and he came in requesting like, how much would any of you guys be willing to put her name on my junk? And I was still new. I was like, I'm not interested. No, everybody passed.
Not it knows ghosts.
Everybody's just like,
told
no,
not me.
no. And honestly, I don't know if he ever found anybody. I think honestly, he just had to go around town asking about it because he messed up.
He walk ashamed at go.
Right. And so
Yeah.
and it was like, thanks guys, appreciate it. He left. Well, then David comes out from the back. He was in the bathroom and he walks through and I'm like, David, you missed out. You totally could have totally tattooed a dick. And he's like, yep, would have done it. Where he's at? $800. I'm like,
Oh shit.
that's not his first rodeo. Apparently it would have been, but he
inflation
already
since then.
but he's
So-
already so it's like, so and then here you are. First, oh yeah, I totally did that, and I moved on with my life. Like, let's talk about that. So I appreciate you giving us details. That's so there you have it. Settles all of it.
$1,000 wiener tattoos.
Yeah, $1,000. Oh,
You got $1,000, she'll tattoo it.
well, so will you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. If she's done it, then we can all do it. Trendsetter
I
is
have
what
no
you are.
shame.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tattoo it. I mean, it's not like I've not done female parts. Why can't I do
Right?
male
Yeah,
parts?
that's true. Either way, thank you for sharing that experience, and thank you for thanks for having it, and then thanks for sharing the details of it, because I know that was something that I've been wanting to like. Oh man, that answers a lot of questions from a previous episode, but we didn't want it to be like the focus of the interview.
Right.
I just at the very least,
We could talk about it for at least another hour.
right. Thank you for all of your hard work, and you're a valuable asset to the team, and you worked really hard for it, and I don't know, your work has always been impressive, and your ethic has always been impressive. We're glad you're here.
Me too.
Is there anything you got? Lex Ink 417, right? On
That's on
Facebook
Instagram.
and Instagram. Like what other ways can people find you?
So my Facebook is actually my name, Alexius Schmidly, but you have to do the Lex Ink nickname in parentheses at the end.
Okay.
And that's
So
my Facebook. And those are really the only two platforms I have for tattooing.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Alrighty.
yeah.
Or no, because they can find her on our page.
And they can
Oh,
find us on the
and
Cryptic
Cryptic,
Tattoo
yeah,
page.
of course.
CrypticTattooGallery.com.
Yeah.
But thank you again. I'm sure we'll have you on again, and it's been a great conversation. Appreciate
fun.
you. Cool.
Yay!
Peace.